Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great day. Welcome back for another Simon Hurley Create video. This is Cassie. Today we're going to be making a slimline card, so let's talk about what we're using. We're going to be using the Flower Power Stencil. This is a continuous stencil. I'll show you how we use that on a slimline card. We're also using this absolutely adorable Crazy Daisies background stamp. It's a pull apart. You know how I feel about those peel aparts. Those are so cool. We've got some stark white cardstock, and then we're also going to be using the Sentimental flowers because I love the sentiments in this set. All right, let's get started. So I have my cardstock trimmed down to 8.5 inches by 3 inches, and I did go ahead and use some pixie spray on the back of my stencil. I just love using that on the back. It works great, especially for stencils that might be a little bit more intricate. And then I've got some Heffy tape that I'm going to use at the very top. We're going to do some blending. My first color is Tropical Tango, and I have my mini ink blending tools that we are just going to blend from the bottom up. So I'm blending that up and just kind of intensifying the color at the very bottom. But the mini ink blending tools, those are tried and true, and I like using all of my blending tools that I have, but those ones are very good, and I have a blending foam for each color. Our next color is Over the Moon. We're going to blend these a little bit. The Simon Hurley Create inks blend so beautifully together, so you'll notice that I get this even more green color when I combine that over the top of the Tropical Tango. Then I'm going to take my stencil off and I'm going to clean it. I don't clean it as well as I should, but I'm going to clean it. And you'll notice what I mean by continuous stencil is I can just move this stencil up, line it back up with parts that I've already done, and then I can continue on blending. And then my final color I'm bringing in is Sidewalk Chalk. So that is the new one from Simon Hurley Create. And I love this pastel color, like from top to bottom, that we have with this blending, and it looks really pretty over the top of the Over the Moon. So check it out. And then I'll just put my blending foam away. I have, like I said, one for each of the colors, and that's how I store them. So this is a peel apart background. Love red rubber stamps, they're great. And what that means is you can just peel your little pieces out, and if you want it to be a background, you just put it right back in. But I want these two little flowers with their darling little faces. I'm going to stamp those out onto that stark white cardstock. It's just a scrap that I have, and I'm using some ink on 3 blackout ink because I do want to do a little bit of Copic coloring. So I've got a couple of them stamped. We're going to start with some BG13 for our leaves. I'll bring in some BG49 just to add a little bit of depth and dimension there. And then I'm going to bring in some yellows. So we've got Y15 and then Y17. I tried to match my colors up to the inks. And then for our petals, we've got RV52. And then the darker color I'm going to bring in is RV55. And then I'll blend that out just a little bit with the RV52. But isn't that little face on there so stinking cute? And then there was one stamp in there that didn't have leaves. It just had, well, it did have some leaves, but it was just like mostly the flower. It didn't have a stem. So I thought that one was super cute. And then we'll blend that out a little bit more. And then after we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and fussy cut these out. Really easy to do. Didn't take hardly any time. And then when I have those, I'm going to pull out my sentiment. I am always in need of birthday cards. I know I've asked that before. It seems like thinking of you and birthday are the ones that I tend to reach for the most, and it seems like a lot of you have said the same thing. So I'm going to stamp that right down there just using one of those new Simon Hurley Create stamp blocks. They're a little bit thinner stamp block than most of them that are out on the market. So if you don't like the big bulky ones, Simon Hurley Create has some thinner ones. My card base was cut down to 7 inches by 8.5 inches, and there I just scored it at 3.5 inches. That's about how I typically make my slimline cards. And then I'm just going to use some liquid glue to adhere down my panel down to my base, and that pink just came from my stash. I have so much cardstock in my stash of different colors, so I'm trying to just go through and use that. And then I have this nice pink border on the left and right hand side. I did cover this first flower on the back using a little bit of foam tape, and I'm just peeling off the release paper right now. And then I'm going to decide where I want that little cutie. I won't push down too hard because I want to stick this one sort of behind there, but I don't want to add foam tape where I don't need it. I decide the only piece of foam tape I need is just on the back of his little head. So I'm going to peel that off, and then I'm going to use liquid glue for his leaves and his stem. And then we'll just kind of prop him behind this other one. But I don't stop there. I do pull in some Nuvo Dream Drops, and I have these in the colors Dragon Scales, Gold Luxe, and Love Potion. Those matched so beautifully, and I haven't pulled out my Nuvo drops in a hot minute, so I just had to. I lined up the colors with their matching color underneath, and then just put about 3 drops, just varying the size. That is the cool thing about Nuvo drops, is you can make them whatever size you want. And then I'm going to kind of flatten them out just a little bit to make them look a little bit more like enamel dots. And then that's it. That's going to do it for our card today. So if you liked this video, I would love it if you hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. I have all the products that I use linked down below in the description box, so be sure to check that out. And thanks for stopping by. I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.